October 1915, Prime Minister Vasily Radoslava of Bulgaria issued the statement announcing his country's entry into the First World War on the side of the Central Powers. Secretly courted by both sides in World War I as a potential ally in the tumultuous Balkan region, Bulgaria eventually decided in favor of the Central Powers. In his statement on the 11th of October 1916, Radoslava argued that confronting the Allied powers of Britain, France, and even Russia, alongside Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, was desirable not for only the economical reasons, as the latter two countries were Bulgaria's chief trading partners and partners in trade, but also as a way for the country to defend itself against its aggression of its immortal enemy, Serbia, the Russian ally and the major powers in the Balkans that Radoslava considered to be his country's greatest foe and foes. Today we see all races that are fighting, not indeed for ideals, but solely for their material interests. Radoslava maintained, the more therefore we are bound to a country in a material way, the greater the country's interest in our maintenance and increase sense thereby that one profit who helps us and is tied to us by economic bonds. The figures show that our trade, our interest, and our economy and our economic life are inspired and inseparably linked with Turkey, Germany, and Austria-Hungary. So that would include Greece and Romania. So after this, what led to Bulgaria? So Bulgaria was actually created in the Treaty of San Stefano in 1871, just before Germany, or like 1878. I can't remember right now, I'm sorry. But basically, Bulgaria was created as a principality anyway, kids will be kids. Anyway, San Stefano, Bulgaria is a principality of the Ottoman Empire, blah blah blah. So during the Balkan Wars, there were some tumultuous periods in the Balkan Wars in the Balkan Wars, it was a very tumultuous time as the Bulgarians were doing ethnic cleansing to the Turks, and the Turks were doing so to the Bulgarians. Anyway, war crimes aside, they settled on a treaty, and Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, Montenegro, and basically what would become Yugoslavia gained their independence from the Balkans. No, the southern half of Yugoslavia, not Croatia, Slovenia. Basically after Croatia and Bosnia-Herzegovina, yeah. So anyway, now the enemy was of course going to be the Ottoman Empire. But when Bulgaria was not promised the lands it was promised after the First Balkan War, which drove the Ottomans out of Europe for the last time, things kind of got murky as the Allies wanted Macedonia, which was rightfully kind of Bulgarian, rightfully not kind of Bulgarian. It was distinct enough, but it wasn't Serbian, nor was it too Bulgarian. It was like 50 Bulgarian, 50 Serb, and that's why there was that whole tumultuous thing. So the First Balkan War is a major step to the Second Balkan War, which Ferdinand personally declared himself because, of course, they didn't get the land that they were promised. So anyway, the Second Balkan War happens, and remember Romania? Yeah, they came on their frontal flank, their northern flank, occupied Dobrogia, and actually marched to the capital of Sofia, while all of the Bulgarian army was mobilized on the Serbian front, and basically capitulated Bulgaria before they even had a chance. I don't know who made that strategy, but in hindsight, it was like, I declared war on you. I didn't expect Romania to come in my ass and do stuff. So yes, there's that problem as well. But they lost the Second Balkan War and lost a bit of Dobrogia, a little bit more of Dobrogia. So now there is the interim or the second great catastrophe which Bulgaria had to face. Now, during this time, Bulgaria started to build up and started to go a bit more towards the Central Powers, even forgiving Turkey for the ethnic genocide, because we did it too, right? So, two rights make a wrong, right? So now, there have been Prussianized in a sense, and fun fact, King Ferdinand was born in Vienna. He was a lieutenant or corporal in the Austrian army. He is actually cousins to Kaiser Wilhelm. And like I said, they kind of forgiven the Ottomans because the friend of my friend, the enemy of my enemy is now my friend. And Serbia and the Ottoman Empire still had Albania because Serbia wanted this Yugoslav united front. So the Ottomans still kind of held Albania, somewhat, kind of. So now the Bulgarians, I know this is tradition. I could go like super in detail, but this is tradition. We just have a nice little discussion. We talk about the war and what led up to that war. There would be a few counterpoints to like really expand upon, but basically Bulgaria's entry into World War I is cousins with the Kaiser. Second Balkan War pissing them off. The interim just building back their army stocks. Of course, there's a large amount of trade with the... Excuse me. I'll edit that burp out, I swear. There's obviously the large amount of trade between the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire and even Germany in the north. And for this reason, Bulgaria was kind of in a... I would say it was kind of backed into a corner at this point. So even if they wanted to go allies, because they were the biggest army in the Balkans, they were still kind of trapped because Romania was neutral at 1915. The Ottoman Empire literally shares a border with them, right there. Even though the Ottomans were not doing too well, the Ottomans now joined the war, so they didn't really have to divert too much to the Sinai front yet, but still, that would put stress on the Ottoman Empire. The Austro-Hungarians were barely holding on to Galicia, so Bulgaria was kind of backed into a corner. But of course, hindsight is 2020, and yes, we want this year to end, okay? But hindsight is 2020, and history is not really played out by, oh, Bulgaria should have done this because this would have been the obvious outcome. Who knows? Wars are going to be won before the war is even started for you yet, right? So that is it. The First Balkan War, which led to the Second Balkan War, which led to the interim and the Great Catastrophe, the Second Great Catastrophe, or the Second Great Loss. And loss of Dobrogia to Romania, loss of Macedonia and the rightful lands to Greece and the Serbians, and finally, trade partnership between the Ottomans, the Austro-Hungarians, and large surpluses of German weapons to the Bulgarian military sealed their fates to be a central power in the First World War. It did not really seal their fates, but it was pretty much a done deal at that point, because it was pretty much, they even had some Mosins from the interim as well, so that's interesting. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Just another short video. I'm just like warming up my voice for the actual video that has to be edited, but it is tradition, and I will continue it. It is a ramble. The beginning is filled with stuff, but as Radislav said, today we see races that are fighting not for the ideals but solely for the material interests. Radislav maintained, the more therefore we are bound to a country in a material way, the greater of this country's interest is our maintenance and increase, since thereby that one will profit who helps us and is tied to us by economic bounds. The figures show that our trade, our interests, and our economic life are inspired, linked with Turkey, Germany, and Austria-Hungary. So Bulgaria acted quickly, and after the declaration of war, invaded the Serbian. Bulgaria acted quickly, and its declaration. Bulgaria acted quickly after its declaration of war. Bulgaria acted quickly after its declaration of war, invading the Serbian province of Macedonia, and its process dividing and getting a wedge for the Allied forces in Greece, as their attempts to aid Serbia in 1916. In the summer of 1916, Bulgaria invaded and occupied sections of then neutral Greece, mounting a major offensive in August that was only halted by British aerial and naval attacks. And after that, Bulgaria kind of went downhill, as the stalemate and the lives lost would equal to 100,000 Bulgarians. Probably the least of the countries involved, a major power, not like a colonial power, but still 100 lives too many. And they would be the first Central Power to capitulate on the 29th of September 1918. But that is it for Bulgaria. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next time. Yep. Anyway, guys, let's get Bulgaria done. Let's get Romania done. Let's talk about Japan for like 5 videos. Let's talk about Sweden for 2 videos. Let's talk about Norway for 2 videos. Bam, bam, bam. Let's wrap up the Soviet-Afghan War by... Today's what? We're in August, right? I'm looking at the calendar on my the laptop. Let's see. August. Yeah, I don't know the days. I don't know the months of the year. Okay. August, September, October, November, December. Right. Come on, guys. I'm here thinking about genocide and ethnic cleansing in the Balkan region, guys. Forgive me, okay? Anyway, September. We're in August. We basically started August. Damn, it's already the 8th. Shit. Alright, September. I would like to conclude Soviet-Afghan War by the 30th. That would be nice. I haven't had any leeway yet. I mean, like, I barely got, like, the one video. But, hopefully, if this sounds good to you guys, I'm gonna do the British one, record it, edit it, and if this is pretty good, which it is, because I did a lot of things differently. Today, I warmed up. I am taking my breaths. I'm taking my time. I'm just talking off of the top of my head as well, so I'm not gonna use some big vocabulary to stumble my tongue, and get like that mixed-up jargon like you heard just now when I was like, Bulgaria acted quickly after its declaration of war. Like, Bulgaria acted quickly after its declaration of war. I don't know, like, some things are not going to be the best. Declaration of war. Alright, so that sounds good. I guess I gotta stop being lazy in the lips as well and just go for the exaggerated lip movement. Even though I've learned to kind of relax, you still gotta stress a word. You gotta stress some words, especially if you know they're coming. So yeah, like, I'm just been learning a lot. Just been you know, just learning, enjoying myself. But Bulgaria now enters the fight. And what will Bulgaria do? I don't know, but Bulgaria will be the power of the Balkans until the Allied forces land in Salonika and push them back to the Oder River. Or, shit, the Oder? No, that's in Poland. It runs through Bulgaria, right? They will be pushed back to Sofia. And of course, the war would end in lives lost, lives destroyed, and Sofia kind of unharmed. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, guys, learn something. Bulgaria is going to be super short, like 15 episodes max, 5 heroes, 1 to 10, that's it. Like, I don't want to make Bulgaria see, like, I will try my best but to do some other stuff for Bulgaria, but I mean, like, there's no colonies, the weapons are not really theirs, so honestly, it's just 1 to 10. There is a U-boat that has been used in the Black Sea by Bulgaria, especially during the Salonika campaign and front, especially with those naval attacks that I just mentioned. But after that, there are some interesting stories for Bulgaria, for sure, but don't expect no Bulgarian Tusars or like colonial powers. Like, just expect a 1 to 10. Probably like 3 or 4 people of notability, probably 2 random episodes about Macedonia, and probably the aftermath and the Treaty of Trento. No, the Treaty of Lily. No, that's Ottomans, right? Yeah, and the treaty that would kind of shape Bulgaria, but Bulgaria did not really lose much. It was like the kindest treaty from World War I. So, yeah. I mean, it was the furthest thing. I mean, Serbia would have went hard on it, but Serbia technically does not exist when that treaty was signed. So yeah, so anyway guys, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. This is tradition, so I'm sorry if it's rambly, but it is tradition to do this. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I will edit out that one burp, probably not, and see you next time. Learn something.